sort of loud verbal display challenging ET in general out in the middle of nowhere?
That's what I was doing. I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off. When I was having this fit, I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had this fit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
He was a Louisiana man named Montaldo. Folks around called him Six Gun Joe. Worked with ICAR, don't you know? Investigating UFOs. Out for a drive with a gal one night, they stopped to check out the reporting site. When an alien lit right there on the ground, he commenced to throwing his weight around. Now, old Six Gun didn't take too kindly to that kind of thing, especially without Vaseline or anything like that, Seriously. Well, Six Gun looked that critter right in the eye and said, "Any last wish before you die?" Yo, reached for his gun, quick as a twitch, and said, "Fill your claw, you son of a bitch." Now a legend spread across the land about this pistol-waving man. But if you're from space or from Earth below, you don't give no lip to Six Gun Joe.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network. Welcome to UFO Undercover, with your host, Joe Montaldo.
Joe Montaldo. Where is it, Joe? Joe. Oh, there he is. Hey, what's up, guys and girls? I hope everyone's having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, all around our big, beautiful blue planet. What's that, Jackie Lee? Yes, you could say I coined that. I've been saying it for 30 years. Yes, I know. I hate to even admit we've been doing this that long. I know it's
overall, all told, I've been doing this kind of research since I was like 11.
Well, we're talking about the radio, and we ain't talking about the research. That's even longer, but it's been a long time doing radio. It's been interesting between the support groups and radio. We've been doing it for 34, and we've been in the field for let me do my how old I am, about 40 years. Shh, don't tell people that, okay? I remember when I used to say 20, and I was like, "Wow, 20 years, man!
Been doing it that long?
That's a big deal, man. 20 years." And then all of a sudden, it's it's more years than who's been alive down there.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I started at 11 or 10 or 11. I'm 57, so it's 40 some years just looking at this stuff. Not always constantly, but I mean, it was whenever I heard anything, I snatched it up at books, videos, documentaries, whatever I could. But the radio show I've been doing for 9 years with Jeff, and like 3 years on yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a while. It's I look 47. I'll send you a free book. What you want, baby? So send me your address. I'll send you a free book. 47. Yeah, I'll take that compliment any day of the week. No, Jackie. Actually, we're going to talk a couple of things tonight. That you and the cleanup crew. This is something that we talk about from time to time, and it's a couple of different things. But we'll get there in a minute. Who could be on the cleanup crew. We're not going to mention her pink name, but no.
Hello.
It's hello.
Hey,
Who is that, please?
Hi.
Who is this entering the room now? What? My voice didn't change. What are you, crazy? You smoking crack? It's oh my God, it's the Boggy Creek monster, man. Jesus, I am old. You cannot scare me like this. God. What's that, Sam? Yeah, I know you're Samantha, but you just like Sam from Stargate. I know. Yes, you're not the only Samantha I know that calls herself Sam. Mm-hmm. Well, I used to pick on my sister because her initials spell Sam. Not anymore. 'Cause she's got a different last name now. But yeah, it spells something else now. So, but I don't want to get in trouble. Um, this this y'all are rowdy tonight, aren't y'all? You ready? Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, you can come in. I'm a pop Rumble on in a minute, so you'll be able to join us via Rumble. But you can catch us, and we got 2 YouTube chat rooms up today and 5 Facebook chat rooms up today. Yeah, so you can catch us in all of them. Yeah. You know what? I'll dig the number out of my email in a minute. Yeah, it's assigned a number right now until we decide what we're doing with it. She's holding her baby alien. That's disgusting.
This is Galaxy.
Is it a black kitty? I can't tell.
He's all gray.
All gray? Okay.
He's a demon spawn.
He's a Russian blue.
Oh, I love Russian blues. I've never had one. I've got 3 cats. I have a black one and 2 oranges.
The orange is the original cat. All the rest of them are copies, baby. You mean like in the movie Mummy? Yeah, cats. How do I know? I've had plenty of cats in my life. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They all taste very good. Yes, they do. I don't know what to tell you. Well, why bury them? I'm just kidding before anybody writes to me. Well, I see weird stuff online, like, people cutting up whales' heads and, and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, how do you get in his backyard? Yeah, it's just, I wonder about things like that. Yes, well, you see all these weird things on links now across the internet, and thanks to AI, there's a lot of weird crap out there right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of they've been doing the AI voice thing for a long time on YouTube. If you watch some of those conspiracy theory and alien conspiracy theory videos on YouTube, a lot of them, if you listen to the voice, it's not a human voice. It's an AI reading some script that either it made up or was written by someone who maybe not have the best grammar, because you can always tell they always mess up on those AI voices.
Yeah, well, they got a lot to go on that. Jimmy, yeah, we're gonna talk. Calm down. We're just chatting. We're gonna be talking about the cleanup crews in just a minute. I know it's not like the end of the world or anything.
That's a cool patch.
I have come for you. And no, as far as I know, it doesn't matter what city you're in, what town you're in, what state you're in, what country you're in, what province you're in. It doesn't really matter. You could be underwater on top of the wall. You could be in prison. You could be in a White House. It doesn't matter. If they want to take you, you're getting taken. There's just nothing. There's just nothing anybody can do about it. Not at least at this point. Give us another 10,000, 15,000 years, and maybe so. Maybe it'll be something that we can do about it then. It's no, really. That's really another 10, 15,000 years, and maybe 100,000 years. Look, they have the ability to pull us out of time. I don't even see that anywhere on the shelf right now. Things like swapping out memories or uploading consciousness into other bodies. We're working on that kind of stuff. That's actually a legitimate government project.
Our brain is just a biological computer. That's not so hard to comprehend. What is the time travel thing? We don't know. We don't know 100% about even our own brains, and yet we want to try to figure out time travel and that kind of thing. We need to grow up before we have some of the stuff these aliens have.
Yeah, we got a long ways to go. It's well, I don't think, especially the Greys, I don't think they perceive time in a linear fashion. They don't seem like it's. When you talk to contactees and they tell you on the ship, they said they always feels like it's different. You never know how much time has actually passed. It's like being in a casino.
Yeah.
You never know how much time has actually passed. Part of that is there's no clocks or anything. You don't have your phone or anything.
There's no visual clues either. There's no sun. They're out in outer space, or maybe they're landed on the dark side of the moon. Again, there's no sun, so you don't sense the passage of time.
But see, some of us have good internal clocks. Mine works pretty good. Unfortunately, sometimes it works too damn good.
Same here.
It gets stuck like when we flip time zones and so man. When we flip anyway, it's a pain in the ass. Well, yeah, I mean, when you're on board a craft, I mean, if you're pulled out of time, you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on around. You know how many days. As far as you know, weeks could have passed, months could have passed.
Well, they
And when
can
they
also,
put
if
you
they're
back,
brain powers, they can put you in a state of comatose, like unconsciousness, where they can hit you with hot brands of fire and you wouldn't know it. You'd never feel it. That's how powerful their brains are. So you don't even have to be awake for the experience, and most of the time you're not.
well, I mean, you might be like Leah having strawberry ice cream for 2 months with Jerry the Gray. So, but when Jerry puts her back, he's like, "Well, I'm putting you back the day I took you, dummy." And she's like, "Wait, what?" And then it's confusing. You were
And
gone
not
for 2
just
months.
the
You
day.
know, you got 2 months in the memories in your head,
The
but
very
you got
instant
like
after
no
you
time.
leave your room, you're back.
And sometimes it might be a little gain time. It might take 10, 15 minutes. Or sometimes it might be a little lag, but still, you gotta go. And how does this work? Well, we don't know how it works. And some people are saying that it could be just a dimensional thing. They're just pulling you sideways in a dimension, and when they push you back through the dimension back into here, it's basically at the same time they took you.
They
I don't
have
know.
magic
We
spells
don't know
like that
nothing
in
about
Dungeons
that.
and Dragons, where you can bump out of time into like a dimensional space and put things in it and keep it forever.
See, I know how to barbecue you down, people. So Bob the alien will tell you all about it. He's like Morgus the Magnificent. He can speak telepathically.
Are you talking about cooking a dragon?
No,
No,
dragons would be too tough.
Indian Bob.
Yes, we're talking about Bob back here. Grays are very tasty. Yes, they are very tasty. What can I tell you? Yes. Y'all are nuts. What is with all this weirdness coming on my thing tonight on my messenger page? Stop it.
What are they talking about? What's the weird?
Just stupid stuff like like that. Cooking a gray, or they actually have a recipe up there for a gray, how to cook a gray.
Wow.
They got another recipe now up there for how to cook a reptilian. It's just, I mean,
They must be
proud.
from the south. Do you guys know the difference between a zoo up north and a zoo down south?
What is
See, the zoo up north? Has the enclosure. It has the animal. It has a plaque that tells you the animal, its nature, its background, where it comes from on the planet, what its eating habits are. Down south, they have the same thing. They have a zoo. They have the enclosure. You have the animal, and they have the plaque that tells you about the animal, but it tells you the best recipes.
Good recipes. What Johnny
How to
Lee,
cook penguin.
a good coon ass will cook anything. Yes. Hey, well, them Kuyons used to be poor back in the day, so whatever was floating down in the bayou, got cooked for dinner. Or whatever they could catch. Actually, alligator's good. I know we're going to I'll get off the subject in a second, but alligator's actually quite good. Yes, crawfish.
I've had
is good.
alligator nuggets.
Yeah,
You see,
wow.
I've eaten alligator many ways. No, you don't eat the whole alligator; just eat the tail. Well, some people might, but mostly everybody eats the tail. And it's really is a kind of meat that just takes on whatever flavor you put into it is what it tastes like.
Yeah, it's kind of bland.
Yes, so it's whatever seasonings. It's no, crab meat actually has a little flavor to it, depending on what kind of crab and not all crab does. But
Have you ever had frog
awesome.
legs?
yes, blue crab are good. What was that, Boo?
Have you ever had frog legs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a few
Don't
times.
okay, tell me if I'm wrong. They taste like a mix between fish and chicken.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. The old adage is, what did the lesbian frog say to her girlfriend? We do taste like chicken.
Yes, oh Lord. We're putting him in the dunce hat now.
That went right over my head.
It's well, no, we shouldn't eat reptilians and stuff like that because the reptilians are things, and they might decide they don't like that we're eating their cousins and stuff. Yeah, like a Men in Black when he's walking around stomping on all the roaches and the big roaches.
Plus down in Louisiana every year for like 3 months in the summer they have a cull where they sell so many badges, and each hunter buys 50 tags or 100 tags. They have to fill those tags to make money on them, and so they kill alligators and put these special tags on them to make money, and they do that every year for 3 months. So, and there's a TV show about it.
Yeah, they got to call it. There's too many. It used to be they did the tags because there wasn't not enough gators. Now there's too many of the damn thing. Oh man, you see them walking down the street. They'll eat your damn dog if you give them half a chance.
They'll eat
But
your
anyway,
baby if you're not careful.
yeah, they'll eat anything really. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to actually get to the topic at hand. I know. We didn't want to talk about UFOs. We wanted to talk about something else. Cleanup crews are interesting, especially when you're talking about the alien cleanup crews. They're the guys or girls or it's whatever you want to call them. So in Whitley Strieber's movie, The Little Brown Guys, or actually in Fire in the Sky, the little brown guys are the cleanup crew. They kind of look like small-eyed grays. They're brown. They're kind of wrinkly. They look way old. They're probably not, but it's probably just their species. But they look like they're like thousands of years old. And it's hard to tell what they are.
And they may be too.
Anything that goes awry, maybe a ship crashing or a bunch of humans being killed by accident or something. A laser cuts them in half or shit. Or some other alien killing something. Regardless what it is, these are the guys that come in and clean it up. It's like they're designated by the council to come in and clean it up. And when you hear, we've had contactees, they could write books about this world. And trust me, it would be like Hellraiser on steroids or something. Bats of blood of all kinds, of different kinds. It's like they keep a bat there for each different kind of alien that's come through, and they just keep filling them up. Somehow or another, they squish out all the body parts and stuff. Everything is reused for something, and that's exactly what it's for. And I was like, well, that's just disgusting. But I don't know if it's for everybody or just the lost ones.
Where did you hear about it? Like, when did you learn about what a cleanup crew was, and how did you come across that information?
So the very first time I'd ever heard about this was in 1984. I believe it was 84, and I was barely kind of even into this stuff. I was really into some other stuff, but because of some things that some people had told me the 2 years prior, it made me kind of curious. So I was talking to this gentleman who somebody had referred me to about a particular contact he had. And he starts telling me, he said, well, I was on this ship. He said, they took me and about 30 other people. And he said, and some guy somehow or another snuck on a machine gun and killed a bunch of humans. Didn't kill any grays. For some reason, it didn't kill the grays, but it killed the humans. And he said he killed a bunch, meaning like 40, 50, 60 humans. It was like a slaughter. And these guys, he's telling me about these brown guys that came and took them. And then they asked a few humans, because there was so many dead people, they asked if any of the humans would be willing to help them to move these bodies and transport them. Well, like some good humans are, they decided they'd help them. And some humans are not as easily gored out as other ones are either. But still, regardless, it had to be a pretty horrific scene. So he talks about going to this world. It's a big kind of orangish glowing world. He said there's equipment everywhere. He said you can tell when you get there, it just smells like death. He said it smells like death like he's never smelled before. It's just like everything is death. He said, but off in the distance you can see homes and what looks to be like buildings, places like that. He said actually the sky is very pretty there. He said, but in the places they went, he said they were like these air conveyors that just carried them. There was no belt or anything. It just carried them on the air, I guess. It was probably some kind of field. And we're bringing parts. Things were being delivered different places. Different stuff were going different places. And then there was 3 vats they used for the humans. So obviously, and from what he said, they were at least halfway full. So there had to be quite a quite a few humans that were in there. It was really weird. And I was like, yeah, overactive imagination, guy smoking some marijuana. Actually, Philip, I hadn't smoked pot at that time yet. Yeah, no, isn't that some shit? So, and I was in the service at the time too. So I was like, well, interesting, but yeah. So it was about a year later, I was finishing up Special Forces training duty, and I met a guy in a bar of all places. We were there to get food, not to drink. But anyway, we were all sitting in there to get some eat, and this guy comes up and he said, man, I've seen your face somewhere before. I was thinking, really? I'm like, where? He's never been anywhere for anybody to see it. I I didn't do anything back then. I had never been on TV or anything like that. So he just sits down, and I still remember my friend TJ, who was from Waco, Texas. He just starts telling us about this experience here. It's almost identical to the other guys, and I'm like, this is just. I found it weird that somebody in the random blue, 4 states away from where I met the other guy, would walk up and say, "Hey, you look familiar," and start telling me about this. And he just went on and on and on. He almost recounted the entire account exactly the same as the other guy. So I called a friend of mine at MUFON and said, "Look, I've got these two people who have told me this. Can you do me a favor and refer anything that says cleanup crew or anything where aliens may have removed humans from the planet, any information like that? So can you route it to me and let me see what I can find?" So over about, I don't know, it was 94 probably. I had probably ran across about 100, maybe 105 cases or so of things along these lines. So at that time, I was really busy in life. I had a lot of stuff going on. So I said, well, look, I got to put this on hold while I do this. So my businesses were doing really well, and the station wasn't quite founded yet, but iCar was on its way to being founded, and things were just moving kind of quick. So about 2 or 3 years passed. We found iCar, and iCar starts to grow. And one of the mandates I put in the very beginning was any cases like this are to be brought to my attention. Within 3 years, 1,500 cases. 3 years, 31 countries, 1,500 cases.
So how many people would you say are part of this cleanup crew?
Well, that's an all alien cleanup crew. It's just for some reason or another in these cases there have happened to have been humans present. They would just help. I guess they were just helping them out, is what it sounds like to me. But there was the aliens that were responsible. They were just like laborers. The humans were anyway. They were just part of what was going on. And he said it always amazed me because they originally wiped their memories. He said, but the one guy was a janitor at some office building. He said he remembers. It was late at night. He was mopping away. And he said, "What is this?" And he kept getting these flashes. And he went and seen a psychologist about it. The company actually paid for it. His company did. And the guy said, "Well, you're not crazy." He said, "I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a health thing." And the guy sent him to go see a doctor, but they never could find anything wrong with him. And then on the hypnosis, it all came pouring out. So, but it's not just that one thing. I mean, it seems to have happened multiple times in multiple areas, off-world, on-world, on ships. There seems to be, I guess we'll call them accidents.
What specific criteria would need to be met in order to be part of such a crew?
Well, to be on the aliens, you have to be an alien. You have to be one of the Browns. Well, we're getting the human thing, that's different. But on these guys, since this is the alien cleanup, because they're taking care of, they're not going to allow. How many phrase that? They wouldn't entrust humans like us to handle the cleaning up of our own species or anything else for that matter, because we probably would F it up like we do everything else. It would probably be like, oh,
well, I mean, you can look at any of the CIA efforts to hide the UFO stuff. They've done a horrible time. I mean, there's still a lot we don't know, and there's stuff that there's some really, really great evidence they have hidden behind the scenes. But they even the U.S. government, all the governments on the planet, they can't keep it a secret. So eventually, we're going to find all the stuff out. But eventually, stuff, even with cleanup crews, eventually stuff gets out.
Yeah.
So the purpose of the cleanup crew is to keep it a mass global secret?
No. So no. So you're getting things. Okay, these are aliens. These are just alien people who are. That's what they do. That's what their species does actually, and they do it for the entire Federation or the Galactic Council, not just us. They do it for everybody. So somehow or another, the way their whatever you want to call it, whatever they call their group. Must be their way of getting rid of bodies. Since there's hundreds of trillions of beings out there that are part of this, it must be the way they do it, and it must be a form of recycling and cleanup. That's what it is, really. Here, they're doing it to keep it a secret because it can't get out in public. But it's still for the same reason. They're still going to recycle it and use it. And when if Earth ever becomes part of that federation or whatever it is, then we would probably also do the same thing with our dead. They would probably handle those as well.
So are these like the garbage men of the galaxy?
For human waste, yes.
Well, I would think that they'd be more like the cleanup crews that come in after the mafia hitmen to make the place look.
Oh yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Or recycle. They could be the recycling guys.
So also, this is what keeps coming to my mind, and it's actually a personal experience I had. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Russian River in Northern California, but I don't even know if they still do it. But back in the day, they used to have like a few days long reggae festival, and at one point I think it was called like Reggae on the River, and then another time it was called Reggae Rising. But anyway, it was like a yearly festival where all these people would meet up and go inner tubing and drink a lot of alcohol, smoke a lot of weed, and there was live bands, and people would camp out for I think a 3-day weekend or so, maybe a week, I don't know. Well, I went to it just wondering, how do I get in there, right? I had no tickets. I just wanted to go do something off the wall, I guess, and ended up in the recycling crew, right? I was able to get in because I volunteered as part of the cleanup crew, basically. And we were in a separate encampment from the rest of the guests that had their own, like, bought and paid for in camp zones. And so it was kind of private, we were like stuffed away in the back, and we had to do a job to be there. And at the certain times of the day, we would go clean up trash or go clean out the porta potties. And that's what got me in there. So I don't know. I want to draw some type of parallel between that experience and this one for some reason.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, it's weird, but I mean, you could be considering recyclers because I mean that's basically what they're doing. It's nobody
was recycling anything. That's just what they called that's what they called the position, the recycling crew. But it really was to clean up all the, to clean up after the people who were actually partying. Like we would go with the stick with the thing on the bottom and clean all the cups and bottles and plastic chip bags, and we would walk around with the garbage bag and clean up the trash on the ground. And I was only there for like a couple of days, but it was quite the experience.
It's it's always good to have some fun out there. Jackie, well, we're gonna get to the human cleanup crew in just a second, but so like in Whitley Strieber's case, there was definitely a cleanup crew there involved. From time to time, or if there's accidents and stuff like that, or sometimes if they're going in to remove a body's consciousness and for some reason they have to move the body or something, that's the guys they're going to send in. Yes, that's the guys they're going to send in. I mean, it's because what they do. I mean, it's just what they do. They're the guys. That's what they do. They go around any kind of disasters or any kind of problems or any just general cleanup of bodies in any of the worlds, including ours. They're the ones that clean it up. So here they're just doing it for the Greys or the reptilians and humans. They're not actually doing it for us. We're just helping them out when it happens.
So do people know prior, like throughout their life, that's something that they're going to end up doing?
No, not that. That's not how it works. So with the alien cleanup crews, that's usually just the aliens. The humans aren't usually involved. When it's overwhelming, then the humans will be involved. The human cleanup crew is something different. And we're going to talk about that in about 10 minutes. That's a whole different thing. It really has nothing to do with the aliens in that way. They're a cleanup crew for something else. What was that, Pete? No, the alien cleanup crew is there to make sure that anything that may be, I wonder about it because I would imagine as advanced as the Greys are, they could clean it up pretty fast. But they bring in these crews. Like maybe they're scared of human blood. I don't know.
Well, I mean, with their technology, they could probably put a bubble of time around it and, spend, years to clean it up and then hide whatever evidence they need to hide, change things so it looks, not suspicious, and then bloop, turn the time bubble off, and then no one will be the wiser.
Why does that remind me of the movie Dark City?
I have no idea.
I know.
Have you heard of that movie?
I've seen it.
I think I've seen it once.
I don't like it when I don't remember movies. It's always bothers me.
I don't know. That's one of the movies I recommend people to watch for some reason. It didn't get very good reviews, but it's a good movie. I'm just saying. It's kind of weird.
I might have it in my DVD collection. I do have over 900 titles, and there are a lot of movies that I've seen that I never remember because they just, for whatever reason, they just don't, they don't leave an impression. But of the movies that are in my 900 piece collection, they're mostly movies I bought on purpose because, I like them for one reason or another.
This movie, I think, if I remember correctly, is the same person who either wrote or directed the original Crow with Brandon Lee as the Crow.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
I think the same person who produced or wrote or directed that film produced or wrote or directed Dark City, I think. But they're in no way, shape, or form similar movies.
If memory serves, it's in the style of that movie, like The 300, which is a kind of very comic booky type violent added special effects to it.
It's a lot older than that. It's like from the mid 90s, and it I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that one with Elijah Wood where he gets
that style. V for Vendetta has the same type of style. This does like
this movie's dark.
That superhero movie with the guy that's blue and naked all the time.
This movie's filmed with very dark lighting.
What year did it come out?
I want to say like 1997 or 98 maybe.
98 with Rufus Sewell. Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they're weirdos. Don't worry about them, guys.
I don't think I saw that one, but I might have.
Well, put it on your watch list.
It's anyway, getting back to what we were talking about. So if you happen to see these little wrinkly brown guys coming up, I'd haul ass. I would not be wanting to stay around, hanging out, saying "What's up, great guys?"
Why? What would be?
Well, I mean, you might be getting cleaned up.
They might do harm to you. Yeah.
Yes, you might be what they're coming to clean up. So I would be kind of.
They're not just there to clean up what's already been killed or whatever, already been dead. They're there to kill off the remaining alive people too, or
well, let's say that you're somebody who was taken. Let's say that you're a contactee who's come out and you've been military abducted, and you're in the military, in the middle of a military abduction where you're probably about to break or give some information out. These guys may show up, kill everybody there, remove everything, and make it so that no one would ever even know that it happened.
So sometimes,
I mean, it would just be like, now the government would know because, they would have lost people. Or not the government as we think of the government, but the Milad people would have lost people because, what happened to them. But still, they can do that. I mean, they don't, especially the Greys, they do not like their people being Milad. They really take a pissy view of it for some reason or another. So they'll come out and abduct your ass and do all kind of lovely things to you. And then, but yeah, if your own people come and take you, they go kill them.
I think that if you were to broadcast the messages that you get on like the side of the screen, that people could see like messages, they wouldn't be so crazy.
Of course they're crazy. Well, I guess I could copy and paste them.
I don't mean like cuckoo crazy. I just mean like inappropriate.
Let's see. What is this? Now, why is this under my name? Let's see. Okay, sorry. Google just sent me some weird stuff while we were talking with the show's name on it. I have no idea what it's about. Anyway, we're gonna switch over to the other cleanup crew here in a second. No. We're gonna no. Who wrote that shit? No. We're gonna take a little break. Calm down. I know y'all need to go get your marijuana and your Coca-Cola and your bourbon and your wine.
I'm over here
City
typing
air.
coffee right now. Like as you're saying that, I need coffee.
So anyway, whatever your
Caffeine is a Schedule 5 or Schedule 1, whatever the lowest number is, drug. It is on the spectrum there.
yes.
What, coffee?
Caffeine,
Yeah.
it's in your coffee, yes.
What?
Yeah,
Well, I've
it's-
always
it-
known that it's one of those substances that has been legalized, much like nicotine or tobacco,
Yeah.
that people get addicted to. And then, those in the higher upper ranks of society have figured out a way to, what is the word? Exploit the addictions of the humans in order to make money.
Yeah, it just struck me as odd. One of my friends in college, he went to a class where they told him about the different drug schedules, like one through 5, and I think 5 is the worst, and 1 is the least worst. And they just took marijuana off of 5 and put it on 3, but at the time it was number 5, and they always kept saying, even back then with the propaganda, that it's the gateway drug.
I
Yet-
think the highest, like most like illegal or whatever is Schedule 1.
Yeah, like heroin and marijuana was on there, and LSD. Yeah, number 1 are the not harmful, or the least harmless ones, so they say. But of the least harmless ones, they have caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol. But they always said for the longest time in the 80s that marijuana was the gateway drug to worse things. Yet I tried caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine in that order way before I tried any other like street recreational drugs.
Well, I mean, if it's something that is so harmful and they need to put as a scheduled drug, why are we giving it to children, and why is it so easily readily available in any supermarket or corner store? Or
shame on you if you're
bodega?
giving it to your children. I mean, shame.
How
on
many
you.
kids walk around with a can of soda or a bottle?
My
of
kid wasn't
Mountain
allowed to
Dew?
drink Coke until he was old enough
Well,
to get a job.
how many kids at the age of 8, 9, and 10 are walking around with a package of cigarettes?
Hey,
in the
it's
same
like
token.
the cool thing to vape now.
Yeah.
Everyone
It's,
I know,
All right, we're taking a
has
station
a
ID
vape.
so I can get these two back on track. We'll be back in about 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So hang out, chill out, go get your coffee and your drugs or whatever you may be into. Well,
Bro.
marijuana's legal in like 35 states now, so have some fun.
You're listening to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
Show yourself. Oh, please show yourself. You come to me in the night. You take me for the starry ride. You study me, you dissect me. You never show me what to do me. Are you little men from the stars? Why won't you show yourself to me? Let me keep my memories of you. Visit me, then corner me, and you'll touch me, and then you cage me. You leave me with these metal scars, you little men from the stars. Why won't you show yourself to me? Let me keep my memories of you.
Welcome to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo.
Well, we're going to have to update that intro. Welcome back, everyone, to UFO Undercover. Hope you're having a good afternoon. We have Leah with us and Jay with us and Jay McNichols. Yes, you know that. And Leah, we don't even want to talk about that one. She is an alien.
Don't feel bad. There are lots of people that butcher my name, and it's not that hard.
Mac Boogle Boogle, who wrote me that? Anyway, y'all are weirdos tonight. So I got to remember because I'm leaving a little early, and I'm gonna let Jay and Leah close up for me tonight because I got to leave a few minutes early. I'm actually have an interview that I'm being interviewed, but I got two of them actually. So yeah, one is a Discovery interview from Discovery Channel, and the other one is actually someone else we all know and love. I will mention it on the next show. Yes. Well, y'all won't be able to hear him. I don't think it'll be on until Saturday. So, whatever date did tell me, I will announce it ahead of time so that y'all know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, y'all know these people. Yes, it's Supernatural Substation. Yes, they used to be on the network. Very nice ladies. Anyway, let's getting back to what we were going to be talking about. So, the human cleanup crew is different. The human cleanup crew, these are people that whenever the time comes are going to be left behind. So I don't even know if we got enough time to go through all this. Maybe we should start with this in the beginning. But so I know a lot of people who listen to the show are familiar with what we call the Holocaust dreams. So the Holocaust dreams are about a group of contactees. They're about 1/3 of the contactees that we have on file right now have had the Holocaust dream, maybe a little less. And in the Holocaust dream, this planet as we know it doesn't exist anymore. It happens quickly, 7 or 8 or 9 days, and like 90%, or not even that, about 80% of the world's population bites the big one. 75 to 80% is just gone.
In what year are they saying? 2030?
No, they don't see. That's the thing. They don't know. Nobody gives you a year. So anybody will tell you that there's at least 10 billion people living on Earth at the time. They were saying 9, but some reason it jumped up to 10. At least 10. So right now we're at 8. Now it's only going to take us 100 years to reach 10, if that's when it is. But see, they don't say they said at least 10 billion, and that could be 100 years from now or 500,000 years from now. I'm too scared to put a date on it because I really don't know. You seem to get a sense that it's closer than it is further away, but how close is it? Because the Greys judge time much differently than we do.
True, but they've been saying for years that they keep seeing signs of the apocalypse, and then 2012 was supposed to be an apocalyptic year, and it was for computers if they hadn't written special codes because of the way the dates were coded into the computers. The only thing that would make it would be bad would be you wouldn't be able to save stuff anymore. Your computer would eventually start to glitch out on you. So that really didn't happen, but they still say that there's, Nostradamus said it. Who else? There's lots of guys with apocalyptic visions, if you will, dreams. Are they abductees or contactees as well? Leonardo?
Leonardo. I would imagine most of those probably. I would imagine most of the great philosophers were, but it's.
Well, I mean, the man invented like nearly almost every mechanical device we have now, on paper anyway.
Yeah, on paper, but still, he did. He does have quite a lot of work down.
Yeah, I mean, like
he invented the hang glider.
What we have today, though. I mean, don't you think there's? I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean,
someone's channeling that stuff or giving it to him.
Yeah, well, I would figure he had access to something or exposed to something, or maybe he was allowed to go into one of the reptilians' libraries. I hear they're fabulous, but regardless what it is,
a lot of hallucinogens.
That's possible too. They do say that LSD opens up different and new pathways to the brain, making it possible for you to do things you couldn't before.
But Nostradamus was a little different. He seemed like, because he did so many different things. I wouldn't doubt that the man tried drugs at least once or twice, but he was so good at so many different things. It's not like he was one of those guys that whatever it was he touched, he could do something with. And it's not something we see as much today as we used to, but people today are overwhelmed by, well, I ain't gonna say it out loud. Shh. That's what they're overwhelmed by. The thing about it is these people. So getting back to the Holocaust people, so they believe in the Holocaust dream. Now I'm gonna give you a quick dream because I want to get more into other stuff. But so one of the common dreams we get is, and I actually was telling this to someone earlier today, wasn't I? So this particular dream I'm talking about, this is a group of people who none of them know each other, by the way, but all could describe each other like they had been friends for 100 years. It's like they had some kind of bond from somewhere else. But regardless, they drove in. They drove into Houston. They described Houston as intact, all cars parked on the side, lights working, lights in the buildings working, doors working, but no people anywhere. So they went in places and they stocked up, because everything was open and basically everything was free. So everybody they stocked up on all the vehicles, and then they started rolling out towards the end of town, on the other side of Houston. As they were rolling out the other side, they all had the same thing and said there were these big holes in the ground where they were just pouring bodies in and using bulldozers and just mass graving them out, where they had gone through the cities and cleaned them up. And one or two people described what they would call mutants that kind of mutated. Whatever killed everybody else mutated a few of them. It always makes me think of that movie Serenity, but
the Reavers.
Yeah, it does.
Like Fallout.
It's well, it's so.
Or any zombie apocalypse movie is the same idea as a mutated species.
But the abductee contactees are immune. Whether they're naturally immune or whether they were given immunity by the aliens could be anybody's best argument. As far as we know, they've been giving them shots for hundreds of years through their family lines. But they're immune. But one of the problems is the government knew this, and the government started snatching people, not just our government, other governments, and that blue plasma the aliens use to fuel their ships and other stuff. The government's got some of it, and they can use that to hide the contactees that they have present. So the cleanup crew's job is to go in and retrieve any abductee or contactee that's supposed to be leaving the planet and go into some colony somewhere. That's their job to go get them. Now, these poor slobs that work the cleanup crew will never get to leave Earth. They're screwed. They're stuck here. They're stuck here with a bunch of other different types of aliens, too. And as in a minority at that, there's not going to be that many of them. A couple 100,000, maybe. Not even that, I doubt. Probably 100,000 if they're lucky. And that's going to be worldwide. So, but they're going to be very advanced humans. They'll probably be upgraded. Their bodies and minds will probably be upgraded, because if you're going to have to fight or go take on huge forces with just a handful of people, then you're going to have special abilities to do so. And we know the Greys, reptilians, and humans always possess these abilities. So telekinesis and the ability to control someone will come in really handy if you got to walk onto a military.
That would be telepathy, not telekinesis. Telekinesis would be
telekinesis, moving stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that'd be moving, Alien Bob on the shelf back there without touching it.
So that's what I'm saying. If you have telekinesis and you have the ability to control people's minds, then you have both in hand, and that's really, unless you got somebody to defend against it, you're pretty much screwed. They can either take control of your mind or slap you up against the wall, whichever one makes them feel better.
You could in essence, with that type of mind power, get into someone's head, take full control over their mind and body. They will be aware of what you do, but they won't be able to stop you. And you can make them go to their gun safe. You can find their gun safe combination in their brain because you're in there. Make them open the lock, get a gun, and go and shoot 20 people at a football stadium. And it'll look like just some random guy just went batshit crazy. But you think about those kind of things. People say that those powers do exist, like somehow electronically with HARP?
Do you think
some
that
sort of program to make your mind do what they want you to do?
Do you think
well, they've tried a lot of things.
Have the knowledge that technology or ability exists where their mind and body can be controlled in that way, that they are able to fight against it and refuse it to happen to them?
maybe eventually, as it occurs to you more often, and you learn how to what
Well,
they're doing and learn some of those tricks. But
I don't even think that.
their
So
mind
since
power is
we're
really
talking,
powerful.
well, but since we're talking about the cleanup crews, they're in updated bodies with updated brains. So the problem is, it's not just that you have these abilities; you have them at a point that humans won't develop in probably a million or so years.
Until they turn
So
those sections of our brain back on.
yeah, so there's no real way for anybody to defend against them, because frankly, nobody possesses those. There's no
And
real
we're
telekinesis on
close.
planet
We
Earth.
have the technology. We could probably make a retro virus that we could inject that would turn our brains all the way on. So we use.
Trust me, they've tried. They want telekinesis. Everybody wants telekinesis because you can just squeeze
Well, think
somebody's.
about pyrokinesis. That's another mind power. That's the ability to start a fire without any
But
kind of
they
method.
see, but we're talking about a political world. A
Yeah.
political world, telekinesis is perfect. You can give somebody an aneurysm by simply squeezing a blood vessel in their brain. They die. It's natural causes.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to ever prove it anything other than natural causes, or
Yeah.
squeeze somebody's artery. You could sit there and literally take out half the politicians in the planet, and easily take over because
Wouldn't
everybody
that
would
be
be so
like playing
disorganized.
God in a way?
Oh
It
yeah, if
would
you had those
certainly.
abilities, you could.
Yeah, it would certainly give that person a godlike feeling, especially if they did it frequently without remorse.
They could personally shield themselves. They could drop tanks in people's heads. It's just
Well, but
the
I
point
agree.
is
I agree
nobody
with both
has the
sides.
ability. Yes,
After the shootings, they all said that that kind of violence doesn't have any place in politics. I agree with that, but you just can't stop that kind of stuff. And if there are people with mind controls out there, whether it's a device that the government has or it's a mind power of the Greys and the reptiles and what have you, they can make anybody into an assassin. You don't even have to own a gun. They could walk you into your neighbor's house who has guns and have you open his gun safe and go out and shoot people with his guns. It's the mind powers they have. Spock said it best. They could make us pull the wrong switch and obliterate ourselves in a heartbeat.
and don't you know the government wishes they could do it too, man?
Yeah.
What type of events would need to take place for there to be a need for a cleanup crew?
Well, it's already in motion.
They had an encounter with an attack with another alien species, and there was debris on the planet.
No. We're talking. So y'all crossing two different things. So there's one type of alien, the alien cleanup crew, which does that. But the human cleanup crew is only here to retrieve human contactees and make sure they rendezvous with whatever alien they're supposed to be leaving with. That's all their job is. The problem for them is they're going to be going up against military forces, and not just military forces, special forces that have been preparing for this for a while, that already knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to be able to have the abilities to do things. Frankly, that's the reason they can't leave the planet. I think the Greys and even probably the Council figures, once they've killed a few hundred people, or done things to people that they're not going to be able to shake off, they're not going to let them leave planet Earth. Whereas everybody else is being taken off the planet.
Why?
Because they're going somewhere else.
Where?
Well, they're going to be, I don't know, not just one somewhere else, several somewhere else's. So it's not going to be just one place. They've been already taking us for years.
Will it be a form of punishment to be left here on this planet?
So I'm saying that it is actually, we're on like a penal colony kind of thing, like a Botany Bay, the whole planet.
Well, so I wouldn't say that it's a punishment. It's actually not, because they could have just killed you. Your reward is
subdued. Anyways, they subdue how much of our brain we can actually use, and they subdue how far out in outer space we can go so far.
But we're not worried about any of that. None of that matters at this point. All we're talking about is where to clean up. Because when the cleanup crew's here, getting off the ETs, all the humans are gone. They're either dead or off world. One or the other. There's no in between. There's either 80% of the population
of the cleanup
dead.
crew in the first place if everyone else is gone or dead? Like, what would
Because
need to be
not
cleaned up?
everyone is gone. They say 5 or 10% of the abductees and contactees get left behind, because they had been taken for whatever reasons by different groups, so that they could use whatever immunity they had from whatever killed them. Because remember, all the contactees say the same thing. There is no physical damage to planet Earth whatsoever. So there's no meteor impact. There's no war. It's something else. They don't even say it's a virus. They just say it's something else. And it just goes through our society in 7 days. As long as it took to create us, it took to destroy us.
What?
And about 20% survives, and out of that 20%, 2% are, well, whatever you want to call them, and the other 18% are contactees. And they're either going off world or they're staying here, one or the other.
But you're going to say that it was a form of a reward.
It is a reward. You're still alive. Plus, you get, think of it, you've got an upgraded body now. It's
You're
stronger,
given
faster, and more
immortality for one
powerful.
thing.
Yeah, you got immortality. Plus, you have special abilities now. You have
Yeah.
all kind of mind abilities. So you're definitely upgraded, and you're going to be living with greys, reptilians, humans, and other type of aliens that will be coming here to colonize the planet with you. So it is a reward. I mean, it just sucks that you don't get to go to one of these peace, love, and light worlds where they're all like floating in the sky and playing little harps and shit. Whatever they're doing, I'm just
Well,
exaggerating.
they actually talked about this in the original Star Trek. They have a character named Gary Seven, and he was supposed to be a spin-off TV show. And I forget, I think it was Goldie Hawn was his secretary. They were going to do all these like investigative adventures, but Gary Seven was a human from Earth in the 1940s or 50s who was abducted as a young man and taken off world and trained to be a special agent with these group of aliens. And then as he was coming back to Earth to begin his mission, he was intercepted by the Enterprise and he landed on their transporter pad. But it's a very cool concept. He had an advanced brain, he had an advanced body, and advanced technologies. Like he had a special pen that could do everything that the phaser could do, the tricorder could do, the communicator. It did everything. He could type with it. Anyway, but the same thing you're talking about, Joe. This is a hybrided human.
Yeah. So, but these are what they call host bodies. These bodies are grown with your DNA. They're just very advanced. They look like you do, not exactly, but mostly. And what's weird about a lot of the bodies is because even the people being taken off world are being upgraded. They're not being left in human bodies. It would be stupid to take these people and bring them to a new world and leave them in this body. I mean, what are they going to get? 80 years? The new bodies are going to pretty much, unless somebody kills them, are mortal. I mean, they don't really age. They know how to turn the telomeres off, all of that. So I'm sure, it's basically, but they're going to societies that don't have war and probably haven't had war in millions of years. They're going places that can help advance mankind. Eventually, they'll let everybody migrate back to Earth or something like Earth one day, so that they can join in the galactic group. But right now, that's not what they want. And I think the contamination must be a little bit rougher because they took everybody off world in the first place. Or maybe there's a secondary thing coming, maybe an impact. For all of us left behind.
Yeah.
So you're saying that
it might be not a reward. Oh shit.
you said
I'm sorry.
You said something about it happening in a span of 7 days because it's
Most of the people go in, and with the 80% of the population is gone in 7 days. Just gone.
What and how?
They don't know. Nobody says. People think it's an epidemic or a pandemic, and they know that the contactees, because no contactees die at all, or no abductees die at all. They don't die. And obviously the government realized it, or somebody realized that ahead of time and already figured out a way to use them to save some of them. Because about 5% or 7% of the population that's saved is not abductees or contactees. They're just regular humans. It doesn't really matter because they're going to kill them anyway. Or you might have to kill them. That might be one of the jobs of the cleanup crews, to kill all whatever humans are left after they get all the rest of the contactees off the planet. That might be part of the job.
Seems to be a recurring biblical theme where humans get to a certain point and then they destroy most of them, but they save this guy. Then it happens again. Let's destroy the game, but let's save these guys. So that seems like it's an unnatural thing if they're allowing those things or making those things occur in order to whatever experiment they're doing.
I don't think they're actually doing it. I think this is just something either we caused or it was a natural occurring event.
Could it be like nuclear war?
Well, no. So when you hear some people talk about this, they sound like they're talking about something that was exposed to high energy radiation. Like maybe we passed close to a quasar, the planet did. And the contactees in their DNA, they were shielded from it, but the normal humans weren't. The radiation killed them. Nobody really knows. That's what I'm saying. We don't actually know. They talk about it, but it's limited information because the aliens ain't giving up any information, and the contactees can only get so much, and most of that's coming in their dreams. And it only comes to certain ones, and it's almost always the ones that are being left behind. It's never the ones that are going off world. That's another weird thing. And until a couple of years ago, we didn't even tell anybody about any of that stuff. We just said there was two sides to it.
Would that have anything to do with that scripture, the meek shall inherit the earth?
Yep. It would be the meek. Well, I guess all the upgrades wouldn't really be meek, but still. I don't know, Joe. I don't know, Rob. I mean, it's some people say 2030, but 2030 is like 2012 and 2000. So
yeah, there's a lot of people.
The world was going to end in the world was going to end in 2000. Then it was going to end in 2012. Some people say 2027. Some people say 2030. It's like people just want to put it just far out in the future that they can say whatever they want to say. I don't know. That's my thing. I would tell you if I had a date, I would tell y'all. I would. But I really don't. I would be lying to you. All I know is they figure population's over 10 billion. And let me tell you, for a long time they were saying the population was over 9 billion. So it's actually been pushed back. No, the Greys aren't saying anything. All the Greys will tell you, or the reptilians or humans, is that what the Holocaust people are seeing is true. That's all they'll tell you.
So what if the Earth isn't going anywhere, right? Like, what if the world itself survives, but what dies off, or like what the apocalypse is like just a reset of society completely?
It might be. The world ain't going anywhere. Earth has already been through what, 5 extinctions or 6 extinctions? 5.
Well,
right?
what's going to happen when the sun swells to the point where it burns everything to dust?
Oh, we'll be off the
off the planet.
We'll be long off the planet by then. I mean, that's 3.5 billion.
If we survive to that technology phase, we'd be long gone. The sun's not going to go until like what, 600 billion years.
Right now, I think the current estimation is like 3.75 billion years or something.
It will be.
It was they had it at a little bit longer than that, but for some reason,
we might even be able to prevent it, and then the planet doesn't ever get destroyed, and the sun stays the way it is.
We might end up being like them people building them Dyson spheres out there and figure out how to stop it or to recharge it. But it wouldn't matter anyway, because even when that blows up, all the outer planets and all the moons of Saturn and Jupiter will become viable for life.
Yeah. Hey, who knows? The explosion of our sun I think it goes to a brown dwarf, and when it dies, that could ignite Jupiter. Maybe Jupiter becomes a star, and then the planets realign around Jupiter. And Jupiter has like 80 something moons, plus Saturn has 160 something moons. We've got a moon. There'd be a lot of things around one sun that might start sprouting life.
I know. Kirby, no. You misunderstood what I said. So at 3.5 billion years, the sun goes red giant, and Earth is gone. It eats Earth, and it eats Mars, and it stops.
And the asteroid belt.
And it stops. Yeah, actually, some people say it stops in the asteroid belt, but I think it stops right there before Jupiter. And that's where it expands to. So that's what we're talking about.
But the energy wave it sends out will hit Jupiter, and maybe that's the energy thing it needs to ignite.
It'll probably rip off the rings of Saturn too.
It might, probably would. It might destroy a lot of those moons. Who knows? Maybe out of 164 moons, Saturn only winds up with 60 moons. Out of 80 something moons, maybe Jupiter has 30. But that's still
there's not going to be any
30
life left on
planets
the planet.
Around one star.
Yeah.
There won't be any Earth left.
No, Earth will be gone. It'll be dust.
Yeah, if the sun goes nova, it will destroy the first 5 planets.
Yeah, it turns into a red giant at somewhere around 3.7 billion years.
Yeah.
It's expected life is only another 5 billion years, but it goes red giant, and then it goes down, and then that's where it's at. But so it's plenty of time. I mean, life has achieved itself on this planet 5 times in less than that. So in less than 1 billion years. It depends whose argument you want to take. Some people say we're at 1 billion years. Some people say life's only been on the planet for 750 million years. That makes it even worse. If it's only been 750 million years and there's been 5 extinctions and we've come back from all of them, all I got to say is we're like cockroaches, huh? I know.
Well, we weren't there for all of them. We were only there for some of them. Maybe one.
No, I mean I just meant the planet itself
No.
as a cosmic kind of thing. Um, so no, Glenn. So yeah, that's what the cleanup crew does. It goes around and
Cosmic
finds
cockroaches.
cosmic cockroaches. The cleanup crew goes around and finds any wayward abductees or contactees that the aliens couldn't take in the original three when they took them all off. Well, there's going to be a lot. I mean, it's just not going to be like some little small migration. We're talking 15% of the world's population.
What if the person that you're meant to go find doesn't believe in any of it?
Doesn't matter. You take them anyway. You just put them out and throw them in a truck and take them. That's what I'm saying. It's one of the hardest things to get across to people. There are going to be things that these people have to do that is going to be distasteful for the average everyday human. And what the Greys and reptilians are scared of is that these really more advanced people now may either start to like this or it may change them in such a way that putting them on a peaceful world could be a dangerous thing. In other words,
Yeah, but is this a peaceful world? I mean, we're about to have World War III spark off any minute now. I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop in Lebanon for them to launch more attacks onto Israel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's fine leaving us here, but taking us off and putting us off in a world somewhere where it's a peaceful world. Anybody left over from the cleanup crew who survived it, and because I don't doubt that some of them will get killed trying to retrieve these contactees and abductees. It's any of them who survive it will be changed individuals. They won't be the same person they were when it started. Therefore, the Greys don't want you in another world because here's fine. And Earth is going to be Earth's going to be like the old Australia was, 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago.
So we're just going to be left here to fend for ourselves.
But yeah, well, so there's going to be like 100,000 of us left or less on a planet that we have the whole access to the planet now. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be able to survive.
A planet that's been toxified by radiation already.
Yeah, but there's places that's clean that you can go live. Yeah. And I would imagine once the humans are off, and maybe that's one of the reasons they got to get them off.
A planet that's been deforested for toilet paper.
Well, it's not been deforested. There's a lot of forests. Anybody who drives across the country or down through South America, there's lots of forests. There are more trees than there are humans.
I'm just being a meanie.
Well, plus with the influx of legal marijuana in 27 states recreationally, that byproduct can be used to make paper. And they say 1 acre of hemp-made paper replaces like an entire forest.
It doesn't matter anyway. Most napkins and toilet paper now are made from recycled paper.
Yeah,
it's they just don't tell you anymore. They used to be they had to tell you. They actually they bleach some of it white now. A couple of companies got in trouble for it because they bleached it white and did not put on the label that it was. So now what they do is they put a little bit tiny recycle symbol down in the right corner way at the bottom of the plastic or something. Don't look, you're wiping your butt with McDonald's napkins. What can I tell you? Yeah. Like the aliens really give a shit anyway.
They don't care. We're selling their icons on pins and patches and all kinds of tchotchkes all over the planet.
What's a tchotchke?
Little knick-knack things that you might have around your house, like I have on my desk. Even though my camera's still working or not working, or I'd show you. I've got some Pez dispensers, some little like die-cast cars. I have the General.
Is that a Yankee term?
No,
a Yankee term.
No, it's
please don't call me Yankee woman.
It's an actual term, tchotchkes. It's just little nostalgia things.
Hold on, Jackie. So, getting back to that was a dumbass thing you sent me. Getting back to what we were talking about. It's like when you meet a special forces individual or a Delta team or Green Beret or something like that. When you meet these people, they're changed. They're not the little young man that went across the sea.
They are intense individuals.
They're changed, and it takes time for that to wear off. So that's the reason they're going to, and sometimes it doesn't. But that's the reason they're going to leave the cleanup crew here.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is. Absolutely, I think so. Yeah. One of the guys that taught me how to shoot firearms, his name was Oyars George Jurjans. He's passed away now. He was my father's age. They were both born in 1936. This young man went to Vietnam as a U.S. Marine Corps Force Recon operator, And what that means is he and maybe one other dude would be dropped deep into enemy territory, like 100 miles, 150 miles deep into enemy territory, and they would be assigned to take care of certain assets while they were back there. And all they were given really was basically a toothbrush and a couple of bullets. That's really all they were given. And this guy did this 3 times voluntarily, and he was one cool dude, but he was definitely changed. Definitely changed.
Well, yeah, I've had several friends that were in different parts of the service and people who served in Vietnam. And, as a matter of fact, 2 of my good friends, um, they were messed up. They did three terms in Laos and 1 in Cambodia, and they were just messed up. But
yeah,
he used to come
a
over
messed
all the
up
time.
war for sure. I mean, good
Well, he
Lord.
would come over. He'd come over to the house. We had a big crush on Linda, and he'd bring women over. Can I trade you for Joe? Joe, can I trade? And they're like,
What?
don't
Like
ask Jeff.
like a swinger?
Yeah, he's always wanting to because and I was like, I said, I know all that Agent Orange and all them freaking drugs over there in Vietnam has messed your brain up, buddy. It's not warped. But he would talk about stories that would curl your hair. He would lose his mind sometimes. We were all out in the swamp one night shooting pistols, and he just lost it. Something about the flash and the muzzle gun tripped him out. It was oh man, the experience was intense. The same night we were seeing these weird flashing ship-looking things coming down the bayou. That was also intense. It was very, very strange night all the way around. We saw a lot of strange things that night. And then he flipped out. Then he tried to climb out of the car at 80 miles an hour on interstate and get on the roof. And I was like, okay, you've lost your mind, haven't you? It's he was messed up, and he'd wake up screaming sometimes. And his partner Sid was pretty messed up too. Not as messed up as David was, but they were pretty messed up. But what was weird about it was, as I was talking to him one night, we were sitting down by the pool smoking a joint, and we were just chit chatting. And the Ups guy was the drug dealer. So I had 2 special forces A team, the Ups drug dealer guy, and myself was sitting by the pool smoking a joint. And I started asking him about, I said, if I get too personal, tell me, because I know reliving some of this stuff might be rough. And we got to talking, and the other Joey, the drug dealer Joey, he says, but I heard y'all Vietnam people seen some weird shit flying around the skies over there, and both of them went off. And they were saying how they thought it was, like the Russians or Chinese that gave them some secret weapons, and our government kept telling them it's not their weapons. We don't know what the hell it is. So they had seen strange stuff flying around in the skies over there. It seems like the aliens like to watch us when we're kicking each other's ass for some reason. It must be like
it's like watching football, probably. Or
they probably got a betting pool going on. Why don't you see? People always tell me, "Oh, they wouldn't let us nuke each other." Bullshit. Why wouldn't they let us nuke each other? Tell me why they wouldn't let us nuke each other.
And there may have been. It's probably too late now. We probably can't figure it out. But we figured out there was 2 nuclear explosions in the atmosphere of Mars, and we know that there were 2 nuclear explosions on the planet Earth because it's in history. But there may have been some nuclear explosions in the past, which are described in certain books like the Mahabharata and other Indian Vedic texts. So if we hadn't already blown up a couple of nukes, we might have been able to, test our atmosphere and find out that, somebody threw nukes down way before we did.
I don't know. It's weird. No, Kim. So we did drop a bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Then there was 3 Mile Island, and then there was Chernobyl, and then there was Fukushima, and the aliens didn't intervene in any of these cases.
Yeah. Well, the other 3 were not bombs; they were nuclear power plants that went kablooey.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That would have been even a more legit reason to interfere.
Yeah.
Bombing it, we deserved it, but power plants is an accident. No, they didn't interfere. It's not. First off, I think we could nuke the whole planet with all 10,000 nukes, and they could fix it. I don't think they're worried about it.
I don't think they are at all either. I think they're, if they're doing some sort of experiment with us and we happen to nuke ourselves into oblivion, well, that makes their experiment go null. But I think what they would do is in the next 20 minutes, spray the planet with whatever super goo they have and change it right back to the way it was and put their own new stuff down on it.
Frank, that's a good observation. Maybe it was a neutron bomb that killed everybody. Neutron bomb would kill everybody, and it wouldn't disintegrate them like a real bomb did. It would just kill them from radiation, and the radiation's gone really quick.
Hell, they
So
probably have something even more advanced that they can just go, and then all the a certain biological life is gone, and they just come down and clean it up, and there they have a whole brand new working city.
Yes, but remember, this wasn't the aliens aren't the one who did us in. It was either us or it was something else. It was either us or something natural. We might have been testing some kind of new crazy neutron bomb that quadrupled its power and just
or some new
neutrons the
crazy
whole
power
planet.
source like 0 point energy, and it sucks up the whole planet into a black hole. Yeah.
No, the cleanup crew's here. Everybody, the planet's still here. The buildings are still here. Everything is still here. Everything looks just like it did like it did 7 days before when all this happened. And there's actually physical bodies because we hear them talking about burying the bodies. So we know there's physical bodies and we know everything's intact. And then I would say neutron bomb, but all the electrical was working, and neutron bomb was still causing EMP. So, what did neutron bomb?
I bet you there'd be a lot of cities that would be unaffected by an EMP, but most of the third world countries would be, offline grids. Yeah,
it would definitely be different. We're talking about the cleanup crew and what they would be doing. We're talking about the human cleanup crew that's supposed to be hunting down contactees and abductees and removing them from the presence of people that's not supposed to have them, so the aliens can retrieve them and take them off world with everyone else. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we do know that the aliens frequent mortuaries and graveyards and hospitals, and they take people at the moment of death and they upload their consciousness. They may be putting it in a body. They may be putting it in a hard drive. They may be putting it in a hologram deck. We don't know where.
And what is the purpose of that? Would it be to keep record of all of?
They're going to the new colonies. They're just so the big ships. A lot of times they just put them in new bodies because they're on the big ships.
No. What I'm saying is, like, what would be the purpose of saving one's consciousness if you can create a whole new being by, whatever means?
Yeah, but you can't put the knowledge in there. So you'd have to have, if you want to be you in a different husk or a different shell, you can't learn everything that's in your brain again by starting from scratch. So you have to have like a hard dump, bam, all this information goes into your head.
I wouldn't have the freedom of choice to make that decision. Like nobody's asking me, hey Leah, do you want to put your consciousness in this whole new body? You
don't get that. You're a slave. What makes you think you have rights? Oh, because you live in America, you think you have rights. No, humans don't have any rights. We're a slave race. We were created as a slave race. We were bred and created as a slave race. We don't even own this planet. It's not even our freaking planet. We're probably from freaking Mars. We're probably the invaders here. So, our biological clock's not set to this day.
It's something that was forced upon people.
Absolutely.
No, it's not forced upon. Well, it is in some cases, yes. But like I was saying, so some people cut deals so that their kids get to go to whatever these new are. Their kids that are abductees, contactees, get to go to these off-world colonies and don't have to get left behind like the keepers do, or like the cleanup crew does. They get left behind, but they make sure that their kids and family get taken off-world. So yeah, it's and there's a lot of rewards in it for it, and but when they take you, sometimes if let's say that this isn't going to happen for 1,000 years, well, there's no need to have Leah roaming around a ship for 1,000 years. You're just going to get into trouble. So they just put you in either a hologram, or they'll just put you in a storage, and you'll just sleep until it's time to bring you out.
I could just mess with people and push them up into the little elevator.
Yeah, so it's weird how it's all gonna. But the problem for us is nobody can get any kind of real time frame on this. You can bend and twist, and it doesn't seem like the aliens are giving up the time. I would think if it was close to aliens,
but according to some not abductees, but some contactees, like Billy Myers and other types like that, it seems like it's close. Like whenever they're going to reveal themselves, say, "Hey, y'all come with us. The rest of you, good luck."
There have been many people say that the Greys have said it's close, but for the Greys close, what is close for the Greys? 100,000 years, 10,000 years, 1,000 years? It definitely ain't no 5 or 10 years.
Was Billy Meyer being contacted by the Greys? Wasn't he getting contacted by one of the tall white species?
Well, there's only 3 species allowed to abduct you. So it either was the Greys, the humans, or the reptilians.
So it was probably the Anunnaki then.
Yeah, there was a human aliens.
Yeah.
What was
And,
it? What's in your thermos cup with the straw?
Can't tell you. You're not old enough to know. You got to be over 40 to know what's in here.
It sounds
You're
like
over
ice
40, you
water.
would know, but you're
Sounds
still a
like
baby.
bourbon and beans. Are those beans rolling around
No,
in there?
no.
Explosive
The
combination.
the boss said I can't advertise what I drink anymore on air, so it's in here because they're not a paying customer. Hey, look, she's the boss, not me. People, don't look at me. She's the boss. Usually, it's got iced tea in it, but I don't have any, so it's got something
I
else.
need
in
a
it.
mug of coffee.
Well, these are great. Just some ones with the stainless steel inside. This
Yeah.
ice that's in here right now. I've been in here since I left this morning.
Yeah, it'll stay that way for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, it's insane. No, I'm going to get ready to turn this over to him in a few minutes because I'm going to be on another show tonight. But no, y'all can't hear. It's a pre-record. Sorry, guys. And I don't know when it's going to air. When I find out when it's going to air, I will let y'all know. How the hell am I fucking supposed to know? It's not my show. Anyway. But if you're lucky enough to get on the cleanup crew, I mean, the abilities you're going to get are going to be just fabulous. I mean, the trees in your road, you just move it with your brain. Get out the damn way.
So
And
what would be the
if you
benefit
want, you could just take dirt and everything.
Yeah, what would be the benefit of being part of a cleanup crew versus being able to go to a whole new planet?
Well, if you wasn't a troublemaker, you could get to go to the new planet.
So what you're saying is I wasn't good enough.
No, it got nothing to do with that. No,
I
see,
was bad.
no. Well, that might be true, but still, the
I was
good
a
enough.
bad seed.
It's not even that. It's just for whatever reasons, and whether you were one of the
Well,
ones
that's a
that
good
made a deal,
question.
whether it was one of your reasons to get your kid off world or something like that, might be the reason that you chose to stay behind. Maybe you just were tempted by the abilities. Because when they're on board ship, they show them to you and what you'll be able to do with your new body, and it's astonishing. I mean, it's nothing. It's like watching the Marvel or DC or something. It's serious, and it's and it allows you to start a new colony here.
Well, but the allusions to those kinds of superheroes started way back. I mean, the Greek mythologies. I mean, Hercules was part god and part human, but he was able to, with his club, smash the Hydra's heads off until he was able to kill it and do all these, Herculean tasks. I mean, that's a superpower. Samson, same thing, super strength. And when they cut his hair, he lost his powers. That's his kryptonite was his hair being cut off.
I think he was just a vain person.
Could be.
Possibly, but I mean, the stories are still there of these incredible things that these demi-humans, demigods could do way back.
So this will be something, but you see, and people miss the point. It's the ones that, like I said, the ones of the cleanup crew that survive everything that's going to go down. They're going to be able to start their own colony. I mean, there'll be actually several colonies, at least 5 colonies on the planet, and they can either start their own or start a colony down in one of the cities.
Well, that better start happening soon because I don't want to be like in my 80s. I don't want to be old.
Oh my God, you'd be like, no, they don't do that. It wouldn't matter how old you are. So you could be 100 years old. When it's time for you to go into a new host body, you're going into the optimal body for you. Age, everything. It'll be whatever the optimal.
Like
it won't be in your 20s. It'll probably be somewhere between, I would say, between 35 and 55 will probably be the age. At least that's what they'll do because of the hormones and stuff like that.
Could it be like a little like animal like type body where you have like you look like a little miniature lizard but you have a puppy face?
Oh my God! Well, I guess you could ask them. I guess you could ask.
Well, there are stories of bizarre creatures like chimeras and unicorns and such. So yeah, I mean, why not? It seems like anything is possible.
Say, Mr. Gray, I'd like to be, like your custom license plate.
Can I just imagine my own little creature to become?
Well, imagine if you could put it in your head. The Grays could probably do it. What's that, Frankie Bootsies? Wait, what? No, I'm getting ready to leave in a minute, or a couple minutes. What do you mean? No, that's their job is. So there may be government installations, special interest installations these cleanup groups will go in there, regardless how many people are there, and remove their contactees from there at whatever cost. At whatever cost. So the thing of it is killing somebody in the cleanup crew is not going to be an easy thing to do. More than likely, they will kill 50 or 100 of you before you even get close to killing one of them. Because we don't know what technology is going to be given to them.
Nobody's gonna want to kill me. I'm too cute.
Yeah.
When you're out there looking at people and they're exploding and shit, they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, we're killing this bitch." They're going to be sweet or not, buddy. Where's the bazooka?
Yeah, like the little girl on Firestarter, little Drew Barrymore. She could blow you up with a thought, just turn you on fire from inside out.
Drew never had a prayer.
They couldn't.
I want the ability to look at somebody, and then when I say pew pew, and then they explode.
Yeah, see, well, you'll be able to do that. You'll be like,
if you have pyrokinesis, you could do that. You can start a fire inside their bone marrow.
Well, I would imagine that the way the Greys use their psychic abilities is much different than ours. It may even be more of a all-in-one type deal for them. Instead of like us breaking them up, because we break ours up, but I don't think ours are broken up. I think ours are really all-in-one in ourselves. It's just learning how to use each one of them or bringing one of them out. The reason we don't have telekinesis,
get one, you know.
Yeah. Well, the reason Earth doesn't have telekinesis yet is we're just not, as a species, we're just not ready for it. We're just not. I mean, we'd go around killing each other. You think we kill each other now? Just think if you get mad, you could think you're driving down the interstate, la 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 la, you bleep bleep bleep, boom, you see the guy crash because you just wished him dead. You know, and his brain exploded. So no, we're just nowhere near ready for that yet. Besides that, you know, people tell me all the time, oh, everybody has the abilities. And when I was young, when I was, you know, a baby like Leah, I used to think that was true. I would say, you know, everybody does have psychic, and I even argue with people about it. But actually, I was in my late 20s, early 30s. So a friend of mine who was with iCar with us when we started it, and I was 38, I think, at the time. He said, "Well, look, Joe, there's got to be a way to prove this one way or the other." And I got to thinking. I said, "You know what?" I said, "I remember being at the mall yesterday, and they were at the door asking people different questions." I said, "I wonder if we could like give away like a coupon or something, like an icy coupon or something like that, ice cream coupon, and you come take a psychic test." Man, people loved it. They didn't give a shit we were giving anything away. They just wanted to get done. They would come sit down, and we were doing the basic card test, red, blue, yellow, green, you know, things like that. Easy stuff. Not even half the people got it right. Not really. Around 15 to 18% of the people who took it passed. And most of them, you could tell, were probably a contactee. So I really don't, I think, and we make it's mandatory for iCar. We don't even consider you an abductee or contactee if you're not empathic or telepathic or both. Yeah. We just, it's just because it's one of the things, the gifts we know that came from the aliens early on.
So you don't just need the correct blood type. You have to have some sort of latent.
Yeah, well, the blood type is interesting. You don't have to have any particular blood type. It's just we're interested in all blood types because, you know, we've got A negative, A positive. Well, we have what is it? Is it which one? So O positive is like 37%. I think A positive is like 36%. You have both of those.
That's what I am. I'm A positive.
But it's just for some reason or another, the majority of the people they take are RH negative. And out of that is O negative. It's just weird. It's like they created it so they could follow it.
Well, isn't that the universal donor? What if the reason is because they end up draining them all of blood by accident, and they need the O positive to refill all the blood?
O negative is the universal.
O negative,
donor.
I mean.
Yeah. O negative is also the purest form of blood known to man. It's where all of our hematological research comes from. There's other attributations to RH negative, but on a pause before I leave, RH negative does not have a common gene with the rhesus monkey that RH positive does. There is no ape in RH negative people. We're not going to grow a tail, son of a bitch.
Damn it.
I know, man. I was hoping for a tail. What are y'all talking about?
Or at least something prehensile so you can hang in trees.
Joe?
Huh?
What's your blood type?
Oh, it's classified.
Oh, stop.
It's classified. It's legitly classified. Not just from y'all hearing it, but it's on my record as classified.
Jay, what's your blood type?
I don't know. I have never
Purple
known.
K.
I need to find out.
Jay is purple K.
He's got Kool-Aid blood.
Yeah,
it
purple K.
comes out red, but I don't know what type it is.
But
So
you
my
see,
blood's super duper dark. I don't know if that's normal, but every time I've ever given blood
well,
and the vial,
remember
I know I have
this.
to get oxygen, but
Remember this. All blood is
oh,
blue.
dark. It's like almost black.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
No,
Until
it
it
isn't.
hits the air.
That's
Yeah,
not
until it
true
hits the
anymore. They
air.
just came out and said that it's not true anymore. The blood corpuscles in your blood are always red. It's the
Well, why does it look
veins.
black?
When it gets black, it's really thick and black. It's coming from a deep artery or coming out of like a major organ, like a
Not
kidney.
like black, but like so dark red that it could look
Yummy
dark.
red. That's vampire blood there, baby. Ooh, vampire gonna get you. You should have never said that online. They're gonna be looking for you now. Leah, let me bite you. Yeah, I can see y'all over there, you vampires. No, I'm getting ready to go. I'm gonna hand y'all over. Jay, y'all make sure y'all turn it off in about 10-15 minutes.
Yep. Right,
So
9, 10, yeah.
guys and girls, I gotta go as soon as I find out when this interview is gonna air. I will see them y'all on Friday night. Jay and Leah should be hanging out. I don't know. Leah's man keeps a leash on her, so but Jay should be with us anyway, and hopefully the other two Sean's. Oh no, he's tight, but he's not. Get over here, bitch. Sit your ass over here. It's hey, what's that, Christopher? Like all good women, you're a brave son of a bitch. You know that. You must not have a woman at home.
What
What
happened?
did he say? He said like
Oh, you don't
all
wanna
good
know.
woman. That's what he said. To the comment that was just made, he said like all good woman. No, dude, I'm not going there. You can forget it. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. If y'all need me, I'll still have my text on if anybody needs me for anything. If y'all want to get questions in, you're gonna have to come in the room like Rob did down here and Rahad did earlier. Y'all gotta come pop into the room and say hi. Don't be. Well, I'm not gonna say the word.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to one of Rob's
I
questions.
don't want to embarrass Leah, but I don't want to say the word. Y'all get in whatever you want. It's y'all's floor. I'm gonna get out of here. If you need me, like I said, hit me up. I'll still be sitting right here where I'm at. Actually, I'll just be switching over to a different format.
Studio.
A different studio. If
Who
for
are
some
you gonna
reason
be talking to?
the Supernatural Substation, and then after them, I've got an hour with Discovery, and then after that, I've got an hour with Michelle. I've got a date with Michelle.
Okay.
The big boss. You know how that is, man. It always scares me. I'm like,
Hey, I never rubbed her the wrong way, have I? Or have
no,
I?
you'd know if you did.
Yeah.
Trust me, you'd know if you did. You don't have to worry about that. If you ever do, she'll be sure to tell you. She ain't got no qualms about telling anybody anything. That's why she's the manager, guys, and I'm just a lonely host. No, we've been having some issues with SoundCloud. We've been having some issues with a lot of things lately. Hopefully,
Yeah,
we'll get
Roku.
all this
We're the station is now Astro Vibe.
Yeah, so the other day he sends me, it was like 18. He sends me a channel number like 18,3000, and that's where it was. It was actually on and running. I was like, and he goes, well, until we resolve our issues, this is where it'll have to be. I was like, yeah, I can't say what I said because there's probably youngins listening, but yeah, I mean youngins like under the age of 30. Anyway, I'll talk, James. Leah, thanks for hanging out. I'll see y'all later. Because look, I almost hit the end button by accident. Damn.
Oops. Yeah.
All right, let me find get out of
here. All right. Cool. So let's go back to Rob's question when we just kind of based off of the thing we were just talking about. Well, the aliens, I think, they instituted the religious type of experiences we all have now. That they put that down so other humans could control us in a better way. So, what do you think, Leah? They must have some sort of concept of a god in order to institute religion on this planet.
Well, do you think that's where like demonic possession comes in, the ability to control people?
Well, I think that's part of it, but no, I think that the question is, do the aliens themselves worship a god?
Oh,
and I don't. They've probably evolved beyond that, but they're probably definitely aware of the concept. They probably had to have gone through a parallel evolution like us, and at some point believed in some sort of invisible being that did everything for them, and yada yada.
So part of me has wondered often if maybe they're out there looking for God the same way many of us are. We're trying to figure out what's the truth. Where'd we
Yeah.
come from? Who created us? And they might just be a little bit closer to answering that question than we are, but maybe they're just still as curious about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they work for the dude. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's, we've talked about the light beings being kind of in control of the gray alien species. So maybe that's their god. What if the light being came down and changed us and made us like into whatever favorite superhero you wanted to be? You could be Superman, Spider-Man, whatever superpowers you wanted. I'd be like, yes, give me that. And I would love to stay on this planet and, be a superhero. How cool would that be? They have to have some sort of concepts like that. There must be an evolutionary path they took similar to ours.
Well, all of those like Renaissance paintings of Virgin Mary or like the crucifixion or whatever, where there's like UFOs floating around in the background.
Yep.
And historically there's been accounts of, UFO sightings, and a lot of people think that it has something to do with, some people think they're evil, some people think they're angels. So, I mean, all of that put together to me does lead me to believe that it has some connection to a higher power.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of it like that. I just thought of it as more of like, a method of control, just like government is a method of control. Rules and regulations, county police are a method of control. And
like
religion
policing,
is a method of
they're here to police us.
Yeah, absolutely. To keep us reined in so we don't, get too far into the galaxy and start wreaking havoc everywhere.
Maybe.
I mean,
look,
we've got two countries fighting over a piece of sand. What to think about how violent we'll be on another planet, possibly.
So they're just out there assessing us and deciding who gets to go where.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely part of their plan. They're also they're trying to figure out something with our DNA and their DNA. God knows what it is. So there is an ulterior motive on their part. Do we have one? I mean, I'm sure most of the governments have an ulterior motive to get their hands on whatever technologies and weapons they can get their little greedy mitts upon. I mean, there's a great movie called Real Men with John Ritter and not John Belushi, but his brother Jim Belushi and John Ritter. And the premise of the movie is they're to go after meet these aliens somewhere in Washington, D.C., and they either are going to take as a gift from these aliens a giant honking space gun that can kill the planet with one shot, or they're going to take a cure that they can pour in the water, and it will change the whole planet and reverse all the horrible things we've done to it, reverse pollution and all that kind of overpopulation. It'll fix the planet. So it's a good concept. So what is their ulterior motive, and do we have one?
I think there's a lot of people on an individual level that would want to go back and redo things. Like if they had the ability to go back, they would do things differently, or like, try and change the course of their life if they had the ability to. So what? I mean,
yeah, certainly. As we were talking, Joe said that they have the ability to manipulate time. So who says they can't do all those things with time management? I mean, they could take us back to a crucial moment and decision in our own life, and we have to decide again. What do we go this way, the way we did before, or do we go the other way, which we were really, really scared of?
I don't know. It seems like there's probably I don't know, that I keep thinking about mini mansions, if that's has something to do with it. Being able to pick up people and take them to different planets, to me sounds like the different places people could go based on merit, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you don't have a monetary based society, how do you decide who goes somewhere special?
Well,
So merit sounds like a type of, if you don't have currency, merit is the currency. If you have strong merit with the government, they might go, hey, you got a lot of good merit. Why don't you go check out this planet we just found?
Well, staying back here after, most of the country's been taken away, not the country, the world, or dead. I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's the scary part. Like I said, throughout my years of looking at this, there's years and decades where the Greys are bad guys, and then there's years when they're good guys. Same with the reptilians. Same with the Pleiadians, Pleharans, whatever you want to call them. There's 4, 5, 6 species that come here frequently. So that's the big question. What is their overall goal? Is it good for us? Is it good for them? Is it only good for them and not so good for us? I mean, there's a lot of questions. A lot of people that have been abducted. They tell horrible stories of how they're writhing in pain. And I mean, even Betty Hill, she says she's writhing in pain when they give her this needle through her stomach, and then someone touches her forehead and she stops feeling pain. I think that's more of a MyLabs abduction that she's talking about. We discussed that in other times on the show, but just going through some of the horrors, really Strieber's book, it's a horrifying experience for him, at least anyways. It's a horrifying experience for Travis Walton out in the woods being hit by a blue beam and knocked 20 feet across the forest there. So Travis, I mean, they're not always pleasant experiences. So there's got to be, some of them must be good, and some of them must be bad. Which ones are which?
Travis Walton said that the experience he had, he was like around, like they were human looking. They didn't look like the aliens for sure that were depicted in the film, like from the 90s. I saw an interview where he said that they were actually nice to him and they looked human.
He's definitely talking about a MyLabs experience then, for sure. But still, though, it wasn't a pleasant experience for him, or most of the others I just discussed. So that's the big question: which of the aliens are good guys? Which ones are bad guys? We honestly don't know. The only way to tell is through their actions, and we're not able to see their actions. They try to stay invisible as much as they can. So again, I've always used us as the example. When we want to go hunt a creature, there's only a few methods to do it. There's bait hunting, which is illegal for most big game, but for bait hunting, it's usually fishing. You have ambush hunting, where you pick a spot and you sit there and you wait till something comes by and you kill it. Or there's actual stalking, where you actually follow the creature's footsteps until you come upon it and then you kill it. Those are the 3 methods, but in all 3 methods, you must remain invisible to the creature until it's time for you to either touch it, capture it, take a picture, whatever your end method is. Whether you kill it and take it for meat, you have to remain invisible. And so it's a bad intent. It may be a good intention, but it's a bad thing for the deer at the end of the hunting trip. That may be the same problem with us. That's why they're in a hunting blind. They don't want us to see what they're doing until it's too late.
Then, I mean, why are some certain government officials privy to that knowledge? And is it because they're on their side? Like, have they been bought?
That's a good possibility. But there's only so many that know so much, and it's been compartmentalized throughout the government. So not even especially the presidency and the whatever administrations have been in there, except for maybe like Bush and a few others. Eisenhower, for example, knew about it. They don't want everyone to know because it's a huge secret. We don't know. The government does not know what their end goal is, and that's what scares like the current, even Eisenhower's administration, who knew about it.
Why do people I mean, I know that a lot of people theorize what's going on, but some people are so certain that they're nefarious and dangerous, and or at least not all of, because I guess there's different types of species, but there are certain species that are not benevolent.
Yes, absolutely correct. Yes. And that's really kind of the question we're trying to figure is which ones are which. And it confuses me because, like I said, throughout my research, they have flipped. Always, don't just pick a species. Doesn't matter which one. Any one of this. There's like 80 species in one of the books of alien species that have visited the planet. There's a Russian version and an American version. I need to get a handle on one of these. But anyway, they've allegedly done this for hundreds of thousands of years behind. Well, I guess earlier they were not behind such closed doors. They were out in the open being seen. But now they're behind they're invisible to most of us. That to me means there's some sort of, bad ulterior motive behind that invisible screen.
Maybe
it's like
humans are so powerful.
Huh?
Maybe human beings are so powerful. Okay, I'm thinking about the animal kingdom and different ecological environments where you have predators. Everything in that spectrum of life in a certain bubble is going to be either eaten or the one doing the eating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everything has there's an
a
apex predator that everything underneath it is going to eat what's ever underneath it.
Right.
And on this planet so far, human beings have basically been the ultimate creator and destroyer of all other life on the planet.
I don't think we're that powerful, but the buffalo are a good example that you bring up. We basically destroyed those creatures. There were billions of them, and we didn't need to do what we did, but we did. So that's bad on us.
So what if there's a fear that if we were to go to these other civilizations that are out of this world, that we would perceive other life in that same way that we perceive the buffalo?
Oh, we might be shocked. There are some alien species that claim they I believe it's the tall whites that Charles Hall talks about. I may be wrong, but they allegedly say that they have evolved. They found us curious because we have pets like cats and dogs. We allow them to share our homes and sit in our laps and sometimes share food off the table. And they thought that was a weird thing because they had evolved, according to their words, spoken by Charles Hall, that they evolved beyond the need and necessary things of like lesser creatures. They didn't find them useful as pets or any. They didn't feel like leaving them the planet to evolve into whatever creatures they might evolve into down the road. They killed them. They destroyed all the lesser species on their planet because they had different new food sources. Those creatures no longer had a purpose, so they destroyed them. So think about that. Going to a place where there's no kitties, the only thing that's alive is maybe the trees and plants, and that's it.
Well,
be kind of boring,
It makes me wonder, what out there would eat us? You know what I mean? If we eat everything on this planet, what would we be the food for?
If you take our technology away, even our clothes, and you set us out bare in the wilderness, we wouldn't last a week. Most human beings would die immediately unless you were trained special forces. Most people would be dead in 3 to 4 days. Well, unless they found a pure water source, most humans would be dead in 3 to 4 days.
This isn't our natural environment, or else we'd be able to survive it.
Well, even so, our bodies still need water. Even if we were on our natural planet, we would still require water. If you don't have water within 3 to 4 days, you die. It's just a basic fact of our species, of our bodies.
That would be a painful death.
Huh?
That would be a painful way to go.
It would suck. Yeah, your organs would shut down one at a time. It would not be a pleasant experience at all.
That would suck.
Yes, it would. But with that, we are at the end of the show, so we do need to close it out. We do appreciate everybody coming in. Robbo, thanks for your questions. Leah, thank you. We thank Joe. Joe's doing another interview, and we will be back, Leah and I, Friday. I'll be on both Church of Mavis at 8, 7 Central, and then from News on the Flip Side from 10, 9 Central till 1 or 12 Central.
Tell me, what is the premise of Church of Mavis, and what does Mavis mean?
Mavis is Jeffrey Pritchett's show, and he's one of the 3 antichrists written about by Nostradamus. He's actually the 3rd antichrist, the one that comes out and like destroys the world. So everyone who doesn't know thinks that it's something to do with the devil. It's not. It's just it's a prediction of a guy who comes and decimates the planet, and he thinks it's Trump. Jeffrey does, but anyway, Church of Mavis, we do UFOs. We talk about aliens. We talk about Bigfoot, cryptos, ghosts, goblins, scary places, all that kind of stuff. And then sometimes we do movies and TV shows, or we don't have a guest. We'll just go off the hilt. You know, it's a good show. You should check it out.
I met somebody who said that when they were a kid, they used to see what they described as a hag that would like haunt them at night.
I've seen a hag. It was weird. I was looking at the headboard of my bed, and this thing shaped like a hag with the big black pointy crooked hat. It moved from one side of the bed through the wood. It was in the wood. It was made out of the wood grain. This thing I saw. I must have been I was like 12. I must have been hallucinating my ass off on sugar. I don't know. But I saw this little hag creature walk across my headboard from one bedpost to the other. And she came out of one bedpost, walked across the flat part, and then into the next bedpost. And I was just like, wow. And I saw that twice.
This person said it was like a woman who was naked, and her body was just like old looking and saggy. And she had like stringy hair that was like hanging in front of her face. And she had like long gnarled knuckles, and she just looked like, I don't know, like she just walked out of a swamp or something.
It sounds horrifying. No, mine wasn't quite that. It was scary, but it wasn't. I don't think she was naked. She was just had a hat and hair, and there's just a silhouette walked across the headboard. But so anyway, with that, we will see you guys Friday night, and have a good evening. Thanks, Leah.
Good night.